Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Cereal at Midnight. My name is Heath, and I am joined by producer David Sterling, the man behind Camp Blood, Axe Grinder, so many different collections. How are you doing, David?
Doing great. This is Heath is a great guy, and we talk on the phone many times. This is the first time we're seeing each other face to face, even though we're thousands of miles away. So it's kind of cool.
I'm on the moon right now. I'm in that space shuttle with William Shatner.
Yeah, he's up there, right?
Yeah,
You
he
know.
is.
Okay, that's just
So you've got like 138 producer credits. You've been doing this for a long time. You're behind. You've got over your shoulder, over my shoulder here. There's so many different franchises that you're responsible for, are involved with. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things here, but I think the running theme here is going to be micro budget movies, what they are, what the place for them is in the marketplace, maybe how you got started. I suppose that's a good place to jump into it. Like, how'd you get involved? How'd you get in the pitches, David?
okay. So I'm going to tell you the long story and make it not too long. But anyways, when I was when I was in high school, I lived in Chicago. Yeah. And I just started read. I read this book on Alice Cooper, and my brother gave me some Alice Cooper records, and I always kind of like music, and I'm reading about Elton John. I'm like, this music business looks kind of cool. Well, you live in Chicago, and you're a kid, and I'm not a musician, so you imagine what the business is. So I started in high school. I became a mobile DJ. Well, don't say that. But you got to start somewhere. You got to like I read in the book. Something. If you want to get in the entertainment business, you just start. Start today. Start doing something. Hey, I'm writing a script. I'm gonna do a mobile DJ business. I'm gonna sing at weddings. I'm gonna do something. And then I believe in domino theory. You do one thing and it leads to another. So after high school, I went to college at Columbia College in Chicago. It's a 4-year program. It's a liberal arts, but they have everything is arts and stuff. So I took entertainment management, but I specialized in music. But during we're just getting cable, and I'm reading a lot about Fangora, and the VHS was coming out and all that kind of stuff. So movies intrigued me, and what really intrigued me about movies, not so much the movies, but I love the artwork. As you see, if you look at I really love artwork, and the big influences were kind of Corman, sort of, but not as much as like you mentioned. Like I'm like the micro budget of Full Moon, or one of them. I like to think I'm like the god. I didn't invent shot on video or micro budget, but I feel that I've risen to the top in my field. There's other people. I'm not saying, but I feel I'm like one of them, the four horsemen or something like that. And so and then I started buying some video equipment, and I did stage lighting in Chicago. So I was doing all this different entertainment stuff. And then I moved, and I go, I have to move to California. It was a different time then. I still think if you want to go in the movie business, you need to come out here to even for 6 months to see what it's like, because you're going to get more work. You're PA, you're going to find more PA work here than you are in New York City, Miami, whatever. If you want to do movies, maybe commercials or something like that. But get to a big city. I was in Chicago, so I was actually doing stuff. But as my one of my directors, Dave Palmieri, did Claw and a lot of my movies, and he's a professional grip, and he directs for me, and he does all kinds of stuff. So he was telling one of I have students sometimes, and he's telling them, wherever you live, you need to move to LA, because you'll start working right away. He goes, when he was living in New York, he worked, but when he came out here, it was just a floodgate. And that's the way it is. And eventually you could move back to where you live if you don't like California, because California is kind of You either like it or you don't like it. It's not like a middle state. Florida's nice, but it gets a little hot in the summer. I didn't like living in Chicago. I didn't like winter. I don't mind going for 4 days in the snow somewhere. That's fun. But 6 months of dark doom and gloom and snow, and with my personality, I knew I had to get out of there. So I came to California, and still, it's changed, but it's still a great state to live. But anyways, it's. I don't think you have as many opportunities as you used to, even though people go, whoa, there's so many cable channels and Roku and this and that. And I just think what happens is things become splinter. It's supply and demand. The more stuff you have, it's like I have more stuff on more Roku or around the world or whatever, but the prices, they splinter because there's more. Anyone could be in the business. But anyway, so I came out to LA, and I live in Orange County, and I started working nightclubs, shooting band videos of rock bands, hair bands, punk bands, everything. I've shot I'm going to say 2,000 or 3,000 bands, because I worked in a nightclub and we showcased bands, and I worked 5-7 nights a week for about 3 years. So we did about 2,000 or 3,000 bands. We did 3-5 bands a night. So, and I worked in Orange County, and I worked at the Roxy before in Cazares, and I did that. And then I wanted to make movies, so I started try to hook up with people that on my level, because you want to make a movie doesn't mean you know how to make a movie, and I definitely didn't know how to make a movie. So I looked for people that were just a little above who I was, that made a movie, that was willing to do low budget kind of stuff. And then we put some movies together. And my first movie is Things, which is now out of print. You could only get it in the if you want Things now, you could only get it in Things box, because we just leased it out to somebody. But I could sell it with the box. So that's cool. And the box is great. The box is real. All these movies are great. But anyway, so I got lucky. I didn't plan this. A lot of it's luck. I found these distributors that would pick up this lower budget stuff, and they started hiring me to make movies for them. So they would give me. It wasn't a lot of money. It's never a lot of money. Okay, but it was money. And I had my movie. I didn't have to look for distribution. A lot of people are like, well, let's go ahead and make a movie, and then let's find a distributor. And I've done that too. But when you start working with distributors, and they can actually get them in the stores, and I started making a lot of movies, and it's the 90s. Took me about, I would say, seven years to start making some decent money. It's hard to get rich doing this, but some years are better than others. And
this was the 90s, you said, right? You went out. This is we're
yeah,
talking.
I dated myself, but that's
No, but that's also that coincides with the video market, right? The videotape market where everybody there.
Yeah, I've done everything: VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K on the thumb drive. So yep. I've done it kind of all. I worked on with Betacam, Pro Betacam, 3/4, VHS, the Red, shot 9 films on 60 millimeters. So it's I think I'm different than a lot of these micro budget guys, because I feel that I look at it more like a business. I try to run, and I have a more diverse library. I'm not a director and producer, so I work with a lot of directors. So I'm not saying that you can only be a director and every film you're going to make good, but I think if people know my catalog, and a lot of people don't know my catalog because it's so big, like the 27 Club, you can watch it on TV for free. and we shot that on a Betacam, and we had Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Todd Rundgren in that film. Where I work with I work with Richard Grieco on. I hate this title. It's a haunted house movie, and I won't even say it. Donna D'Errico from Baywatch on Escape from Area 51. So I work with a lot of diverse people, and I work with some bigger TV people that were on some like classic TV shows and stuff like that. It's very hard on a budget to get not impossible, but like I love to work with like Dolph Lundgren, but I just can't afford them even when I got a bigger budget, unless it would be something. I'm not speaking for him. I'm just saying Dolph Lundgren type. Like if you like the project, it was different. You got one thing for filmmakers, if you're doing a horror film, you might reach out to somebody on TV who does a comedy because they might want to do that to break their typecasting. Where they go from like a goody two shoes to an evil villain. Most actors like to play the bad guy because it's just a better part.
Let's define, while we're talking about money though, let's define micro budget. We're not talking about $1 million. Micro budget is not, we're talking about small budgets, right? I mean, I don't want you to be specific.
I'll say nothing to like 250, 300,000. I'm on the lower end. It's like it's the micro budget. It's a different kind of film. It's geared to, it's a niche audience, but it's a big niche audience that like this. I'm not going to say this. I like to think everything I do is professional, but it's like more on the lower end of it, and it's like what you can do with the money.
Well, I'll tell you, watching the evolution, from those shot on video films to Escape from Area 51, I mean, it's like big special effects, very ambitious in terms of the scope and what you're able to do. And you're doing all of this, again, it's on a micro budget. You're not doing this with $10 million or with, even $1 million, I have to imagine. And you can really see how the medium has evolved, but you've evolved with it, and I think that's very cool. You've grown with it.
Well, it's like, yes, I mean, of course, if your movies look the same as they did 15 years ago, you're doing something wrong. It's like, and what the technology is good and it's bad at the same time, because every 10 years that technology increases so much that there's more people that come into the marketplace with a lower amount of money. So it's like a glut. It's like a glut of products. So like what I do, and I don't know how I do it. It's just you have to brand your stuff. You gotta, you have to, this is Sterling Entertainment stuff. Even though I work with many different directors and writers and stuff like that, I think if you look at a lot of my films, they do have a Sterling Entertainment feel to it, as the films go up, as we spend more money, we shoot on red, we shoot on film, then it's a little less. But we're shooting like on, a 1080 camera or 4K camera or whatever, and it's like the lower end. Even though I've done like probably 6 movies on red and stuff like that, you gotta look like I'm looking at because I'm kind of like going more in a collectible field now. So if I had more, and I'm shooting less films myself, but I saw that came out with a 12K camera that I could afford, and I'm like, that would be. it's kind of ridiculous, but I'm like, it's like. Well, it's kind of like, cutting edge. Not that I would release a 12K camera, but you got this technology in your hands. It's like when we were shooting a VHS or 3/4 or something like that. I liked it. I love shit. Like people go, oh, I love shooting super VHS. I loved it. The problem with that is you're doing with like linear equipment. So you would lose every time you edit, you lose resolution. So when you shoot something and you look at that tape that night, it's like, oh, that looks beautiful. And by the time it gets to the store, it's like fourth, fifth generation, and it's watered down, and it goes down from there, you know. So, but like if I took like say like the Evil Sister that I shot a while ago on Super VHS, and we put it in a computer, it would be a different film. It would be a different feel. You know, you could do I would do a different soundtrack and the sound effects and some digital effects, and it would look just better. You know, even back because I could show you those tapes that I shot like a while ago, and you look at the raw footage. It looks great. In fact, on the movie Things, there is raw footage of the three quarters. There's like 20 minutes of raw footage on the Things Blu-ray, and that stuff looks great. It looks like we shot it yesterday, you know. So, and then, like I said, it's kind of a weird business because it's a film business. Nobody really treats it as a business, but you know, at the end of the line, you have a bottom line. You have to make money eventually. You have to make, you know, one film you could lose, two film. By your third film, you better see some movement, or it's like, you know, it's very, and it's hard to make money doing this. You know, it's like I got like, you know, after you, then I got other stuff to do today, then I got other stuff to do, and and some days, you know, you just don't feel like doing it. So you have to be very disciplined too. So,
Let let's talk about that because discipline is so important in filmmaking. And I'm curious, like, I mean, we look at your resume. I said you've got like 138 producing credits, and since the 90s, that's a work ethic. That is a hustle. And I think you can speak about it. You were speaking about it, but like, can you elaborate on that? Like, you have to be able, you have to have hustle. You can't come out and expect something to come to you.
well, like I work with this director. I won't say his name because I don't. Everyone I work with, I'm not going to say anything bad about them, even though I could tell you stories, but they're all working hard. You're in a business, it's very creative, and it's not a lot of money, and you're always butting heads, but you know, this is very, very hard work and stuff like that. So I got nothing bad, at least to say on camera about anyone. Everyone I like, okay? It works out better that everyone's great. You put up you say a name, I go, hire that guy. He's great. I don't care who it is, even though I might not think that. Everyone's great. But anyways, what was the what was the question?
I wanted you to talk about work ethic, about having hustle to succeed because it's
Well,
necessary.
I work with this director, and we did about 3 or 4 films in about maybe 6 months. I said, I'm getting kind of burned out doing this. I'm like, what's your dad do? I'm like, well, he's a baker. I'm like, how many days a week does he work? Well, he works 5 days a week. I'm like, what time do you get up in the morning? Like 3 a.m. or to go bake for 8 hours. I go, talk about being, and how many years has he done that? Oh, about 15 years. Talk about being burned out. You know, this is business. You know, it's like you're doing low budget movies that don't make a lot of money, but you don't spend a lot of days shooting. It's 6, 12, 15 days. Okay. So, you know, most of the time, you're working on post or you're working on pre-production. Pre-production to me is the most important thing about the movie because that if you do that correct, if you line that all up, then unless you get people making problems or whatever, once you get going, if everybody's on board, it's like a train, and it usually goes pretty good in general. I mean, I could write a book on things that don't go right, but usually they go pretty good. And then you got post, which post could go from a month to like a year, you know, just depending on who's doing it, what you want done, because you can't hire these people full time because you just don't get enough money. But there's a lot of people that want to edit and stuff like that. So anyways, the discipline is, you're in business. You set up a business. It's like when I set it up a business, my father is very good at business. he's retired, but he was a very good business person. In fact, you live in Alabama. You have a street named after him in Alabama, believe it or not, because he set up 2 factories in Alabama, my father. So very good at business. And my dad, he used, to me, like Charlie Band. I didn't know him in the 80s or when I was, but he was kind of a mentor. And the Canon, like, I know you got this book, like the Canon book. Like, these guys were like a mentor,
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I want to do that kind of stuff. I want to be like Charlie Band. I actually did a movie for Charlie Band, A Demonic Kiss. So I'm kind of part of the Full Moon family, kind of, in a way, sort of, And I haven't worked for him quite a while, but, it's a small community. So, I know him. I know his brother, Richard, who does music for a lot of movies and stuff like that. We're not buddies or friends, but it's like, all these people. I mean, it's like I love meeting stars, okay, and I'm friends with some stars, and I'm like, I can't believe it. It's always fun to meet someone you see on TV or a favorite movie, and sometimes it's a bad experience, but it's kind of a good. Usually, it's a good experience. You just got to know how to approach people, But anyways, so the discipline is you just got. My dad said, "Well, you should get an accountant." I got an accountant first before you do anything, because you got to set up books. You're running a business. Film is only. This is like a product. I'm selling a product, okay? This is not Chinatown. This is not The Godfather. This is, like it or hate it, it's the Camp Blood movies. A lot of people love them, but it's. I'm not on the AFI list. I mean, I missed it. This is number 101, so I missed the top 100. So you never see it.
Let it go, Jake. It's Camp Blood.
It's like if you're in top 40. If you're in the top 40, you're gonna see it on the chart. But if you're 41, who cares, So anyway, and people like horror. It's always like, if you're gonna start in the film business, you have no money. Unless you have everybody. A lot of people want to do A movies. They want to do Marvel films and stuff like that. They want to do dramas, and everybody does different stuff. So they do shorts, they do love stories, whatever. But I wanted to have a business that was interesting to me, and I thought horror. I could get into that. I like the artwork, like I said. I'm really into. I really love the artwork. That's kind of the amazing thing, because the thing about film is you got to make it larger than life. I mean, how many times have you rented? Everybody has. They rented this great box, and they get this movie. It's like 5 minutes. They turn it off. It's or 10 minutes. It's like whatever. It's but it's kind of a larger than life. Yeah, and I think with my movies, you never live up to the artwork, but you try. And some of them, they try, or they get, like the Camp Blood, for some reason that connected. I don't know why. It just kind of connected.
This is a great opportunity to talk about these box sets and the art, because you were talking about the collectible market. Let's talk about the box sets.
Well, like things. This is like, let's see, that's the 8th one. But like I love this artwork on this, and I'm sure a lot of people follow me. I've seen it, and they bought it. And I got this guy in Belgium to do it, the artwork, and he's fantastic. And I just came up with that. It's not a brand new idea for box sets, but I just think like 2 years ago, almost 3 now, I go, I'm going to do a box set. I think that's a good idea. And it turned out to be good, and because you're in the physical, you're a physical guy, but I'm a movie guy. But I go, look, these movies aren't worth anything unless you make them worth something. So I go, I'm not making movies now. I'm going to go into this collectible business where people collect them. That's why, like, if you get The Occultist, there's only 2 movies, but I'm going to make more. So you got room to up to 10, or the Camp Blood box is pretty filled. We're actually working on an animated Camp Blood box right now, a movie right now. I don't think it's going to be ready till next year, but I'm not. That's another whole story. And then, well, we got 3 new Axe Grinder movies that will come out. So then we'll have 5 in the box. So then it's like, I don't think I jumped the gun with the 2 movies and the Axe Grinder and the Camp Blood. I mean the Occultist, but I just tend. I thought these were good series to make in this series. Then there's other stuff that we're thinking about doing, like a Deadly Culture set, which was never a popular movie, but I like that title. So and now that movie was 2004, so it's like, even though it's not a great movie, it's retro, and people like that. And then you update it, and then there's other series, other one-offs that I've done that I do want to do. But it's all about time too, because it's like, hey, you're in the office of Sterling Entertainment. I moved the camera around, but I had trouble setting it up earlier, so I'm going to leave it like this. And so, and like I said, and it's like, I like to do more of these collectibles. It's just hard to do everything yourself. We have this. I ran out of the. I think you have the Axe Grinder thumb drive. We ran out of those. This is my second. I ordered a second order. I should get another order of Axe Grinder, maybe after the first. And we're pretty busy trying to get the Joe Sherlock's box set. It's coming out for Christmas or Thanksgiving, and the Axe Grinder. I'm trying. We're the Joe for sure, and then the 3 Axe Grinder movies, and there's a new Claw movie. So there's 4. It's a lot of stuff to do, and then I'm working on trying to get. I have a Blu-ray guy, actually in Tennessee. This is a worldwide thing that can make these things. I got a guy in Europe doing the artwork. Of course, people all over the country making these movies, and just it's kind of worldwide. And I'm trying to get a second Blu-ray guy and another art guy going on this stuff, so I could put out more. I like to put out like 4 to 8 sets a year. It's wow. Hey, if there's some bigger company that wants to come and help me, I'm available. So
yeah. Are you paying attention to speaking about collectibles and stuff? Are you paying attention to the NFT market right now? Is that something you're remotely interested in?
I think, okay, this is a good point. The NFT is interesting. I don't really understand it yet, but I kind of do. You put out this thing and you sell it to like one person for a lot of money, and then you could set it up where you get a piece of it, or he owns it. He could do whatever he wants with it. It could be digital or whatever. I don't know where that's going. And the higher profile people, they could do it. But if I did, say I do Camp Blood 13, okay, and I do an NTF, and I want $100,000 for it. Am I going to get that one person that's going to get? I'm right. No, I think it's I kind of think it's like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Bitcoin kind of thing. Everything's digital. Like I said, you deal with physical. But for my physical, I got to make it collectible, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
And the things I like about the box sets is you can't, brand new box set. Okay, where am I going to put it? It just won't fit here. It won't fit. I gotta put it somewhere. I can't put say you got. I love Arrow films, but you get like you did is it Arrow that did the Waterworld one? Did they do Waterworld? Yeah. Yep. That's a great set. I love that. That's a great looking set. But you look at it like, this is cool, blah blah blah. Then you're gonna fit it in your. You're going to put it there. Doesn't mean you won't think about it. You might want to watch it or whatever. But you might not see it for a while. You're getting new stuff in, and the whole like physical thing is that's a whole. I think that's a whole psychological thing. It's not about just. It's fun to get. They're like toys. You're buying toys for yourself. So like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch a lot of this stuff, but I love having it. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
To just go, oh, that's kind of fun and whatever. It's like for example, um, this is out of print, but this has 25 movies on it, and I bought it at Walmart. It has Hell's Highway. That's my movie. This Hell's Highway has been in Walmart. It's not there right now, but it was in there on these sets for like 4 years. Oh, and I'm on with Trancers. That's a Empire film. Oh, Puppet Master 1. Let's see, what else am I? Anything else am I on that's notable? Oh, Prom Night. I'm with Prom Night, Puppet Master, and Trancers. That's
That's good company.
Yeah.
I mean, I made it. Hey, Mom, I made it. I made the big time. But it was
That's
in the
amazing.
Walmart, Best Buy, just all over. Echo Bridge. I think they're still in business. I don't think they're anything like they were. None of these companies are. I mean, none of these companies are like they were. The boutique labels, those are the labels, the Shout Factories, the
Severin.
Severin, Arrow. These are the Vigor Syndrome. These are the companies that dominate the physical world as far as horror goes. Crichton. There's a cool little company in Illinois, MPI. They do like the Dark Shadow set, and they do all these words. There's a lot of these companies, so I don't think like people go, oh, physical's dead in 5 years. I'm like, I don't think it's ever. It's like collectibles are not. People collect 78 records that are they don't even live. I mean, like, they probably just like that. It's the likability of something. Salt and pepper shakers. Menus when you go to a restaurant. When they used to give out matches of books, people would collect business cards. Going to a concert ticket. Anything's collectible. It's like I think that's where that's going. But you got to make sure you got something. You gotta kind of almost pose it where you think it's going to be collectible and stuff like that. If that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. Tell us about that new Camp Blood box set that you were showing me before we started recording. You got a new it's 11 movies on 2 Blu-rays.
Yeah. So some people can't afford a bigger set, so I wanted to make a more like a user-friendly set where it's more affordable. And there's the 2 Blu-rays. And there's 11 movies, and they're all in HD, and they look nice, and I think you should get the box set because I think that's more of a collectible. I think it's cooler. You got the individual movies, but some people just want something handy to put up on their shelf or whatever, and they could have a marathon. Pretty easy watching this stuff, and it's coming out, and it's been out, and I just want to let you know where this stuff's available. Of course, if you go to my Facebook page, my Kanaki page, and I am doing some stuff with J.R. Bookwater on his Make Flick page, which I know J.R. J.R. is a great guy, and I mean it. So some people have said it, maybe I don't mean it, but J.R. has been friends with for a long time. He's a very technical guy. He's a very, very smart guy too. And with his box set he put out, that was unbelievable. It makes me jealous. It's like, so like, if you can't beat him, join him. That's why I wanted to do some stuff with JR. So
yeah.
And I'm interested in working with a lot of these companies. I'd like to work with some of these bigger companies, and maybe it's just too low budget for them. I don't know. I don't know. But I think I'm a good partner for a lot. I think like a shot factory could do something or something like that. But everybody's their own company, and then they got to see where it fits. But I made a lot of movies, and people know because you've done it. If you do it long enough and you're serious about it, and every now and then, you make one good movie. You can make for every like 10 micro budgets. If you like make two or three real winners, like we did that Factory House Highway, which is Sabbath. People should check out 27 Club on Tubi, Devil's Domain on Tubi, and Amazon, and Claw. They definitely should check out Claw or buy Claw for me. And Claw 2 is coming out, which is really good. It's a really good movie. And I just talked to Dave Palmieri in New York yesterday, and we're talking about Claw 3. So I really want him to do 3 or 4 so I could have a box set. So we're working on that. And I just want to, I'm guessing we're getting close to the end of our interview. So I really, Heath, I think you're really a great guy. I like your shows. I think you're promoting not only the bigger stuff, but the smaller stuff. And I think, thanks for everything. Thanks for everything. He's so good. He's on the Blu-ray. You're on my Blu-ray.
I was gonna say thank you because you put me on the Blu-rays. The review videos go in the box sets for the like whatever the next one is has the reviews for the previous ones on it. That's
right.
great.
They're kind of fun. I think more people. I'm interviewing you. Do you do a lot of other people's podcasts or not so much?
Not so much. No.
You should do. People should put you on their show. It's like a community, right? Yeah. I don't really like that community word, but that's okay. I like want everybody, but like I said, you do a great job, and I remember. I'll tell one more story. I'm in Maine a couple years ago, thinking about doing this box set. I was invited to a small convention. It was a day convention, and I was showing my friend. I had some of your I was like, check out this guy, and he was watching like, this is really cool. And then we were talking about the box set. I go, I'm going to do this Camp Blood box set. And 9 months later, it's like there in 2000, let's see, 2020, right before the great.
Yeah. The event that shall not be named. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, not going to say anything about that, but thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I think that it's important that we don't just talk about bigger, blockbusters get so much attention, and I think it's equally, if not way more important to talk about the things that people are actually going out and creating themselves. That's why I wanted to talk about the work ethic. That's why you have to go get it. You have to hustle, and I have admiration for people that do that. So I will continue to cover anything that you want me to cover. This was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for being here. And for the viewers, I'm going to put links to everything that we talked about in the description of this video. I'll put a link to the Facebook page where you can purchase this stuff, Makeflix, Kunaki. Is that how you say it? Kunaki? Is that how you pronounce it? Something like that.
and Vimeo, where you can download this stuff. And if they want to download direct, they could, anything, they could always message me. And that's the great thing about Facebook is this is the first time you can actually 2 a.m. I'm talking to a fan. It's like, not that I'm this great big producer or whatever, but 10 years ago that wasn't really happening, and 20 years ago, forget it. So it's like it's good and bad. It's like that's why in a way I feel, because you're not going to get another Tom Cruise. You're not going to get these big stars because they're too attainable. They're too, they're easy to get hold of. I I think all the technology and social media and all this stuff and accessibility to these people, it's good and bad at the same time because the business is splintered a lot. So like, you're just not going to get that. I don't think you're going to have these superstars like you used to because they were superstars because when I lived in Chicago, Hollywood was a million miles away. Now it's like, you know, like it's no big deal. You know, it's not like it was, if that makes any kind of sense.
It just seems like it's less of a giant than it used to be. It's now more spread out, and you know, Charles Band left Hollywood, and is he in Ohio now?
He's in Cleveland. Yeah, I think I love his idea. I think it's because, you know, he got this mansion for a song, and it's a studio, and maybe he even had a like we live in California. I don't have a basement. If in Chicago I had a basement, I could have built a studio down there. Not that I not that I would want it in my house, because it's like I used to shoot where I live. Then I did a couple of shoots, and I go, why am I shooting in my house? This is not a good idea. I'd rather pay a little extra money, and you gotta have something for your own. You know, it's like I used to live in apartments. I'd shoot in apartments. Like, who cares? So, but you know, but like I don't think he lives in a house. That's a studio, and like, you know, if I had something like that, you know, it'd be making movies like one a week. You know, that's the way to do it. But you know, the movies you make, even though I made a lot of movies in one year, you got to try to make each movie stand out, different, unique. You know, look at like you know, you got to make it an exploitation. So if you're making a movie about blood sisters, make it about blood sisters. You know, if that makes sense. I did a movie with the Razor scooters on film. And we had razors throughout the film. That was the star, you know. And that was kind of, you know, I've done some kids films. That's fun too. So, anyways, thanks a lot. And like I say, look for the Joe Sherlock box set, the Skull Ass. I got the artwork. I just ordered the box. We're probably going to have a pre-sale around November 1st. And then people will be able to start buying it. I think they're really gonna. Joe Sherlock's a favorite filmmaker of mine, so I think people are really gonna love that set. So yeah, what's the he did instead of things, he did things. It's a long story, but I'm pointing at the monitor, but
I'll put it in post.
Fun film. Okay, Mr. Physical Heath, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. This was a pleasure, and we'll, you know, until next time, we'll have to do this again when there's, you know, down the road just a little bit. And guys, thank you for watching. Remember, hit up those links in the description of the video. Head over to David Sterling's outlets and check out the products. And take care. Until next time, we will catch you later.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.